Hey everybody, it's GobletX, and Duskmourn House of Horror Alchemy has just launched on Arena, so today we're going to be playing a premiere draft of the format, except one alchemy card has been added to every booster pack. So without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one. We've got a Harrowing Swarm as our alchemy card, and in the interest of trying out the new stuff while it's around, these draft queues are up for only 1 week. I am going to be taking the alchemy cards pretty highly, and honestly, this might be the pick, regardless of the fact that it's an alchemy card, because the other options are trapped in the screen and split up, some solid white cards, but I think Harrowing Swarm looks really powerful. It is a 2 mana sorcery to manifest dread, and then all of your face down creatures get the ability to flip up for 2 less mana and flip up with a +1/+1 counter. So it's basically a way better version of the common manifest dread card. So really fun, pretty cool alchemy card to start things off. For pick two, it looks like the player passing to us had the exact same thought, where they wanted to take an alchemy card here because there are 5 main format uncommons, 1 incredible main format rare, and no alchemy cards. So they just took whatever the alchemy card was. I'm going to assume it was a rare. The alchemy cards are only uncommons, rares, and mythics, so they're almost all pretty powerful. And it would have to be really strong to pass a Zimone up for it, because Zimone is fantastic. You can play her on turn 3 and get a 3/3 fractal. Then on turn 5, you upgrade that to a 5/5. Turn 7, upgrade it up to a 7/7. And not exactly on those turns, but whenever you hit your 5th and 7th land drop. So still an absolutely incredible card. 3 mana for a 1/1 and a 3/3, already a ridiculously good start. The other thing that's quite nice here is that green and blue are both the most manifest dread heavy colors, so they're the best place for our Harrowing Swarm to play pretty powerfully. Speaking of cards that play powerfully in blue-green, we now have Under the Skin, another fantastic way to manifest dread. This also gets a little stronger when you have great bomb rare permanents that might end up dying a lot, and Zimone is a premium example of that because she's a fantastic spell to cast, but she's also a 1/1. So she's going to end up in the graveyard quite a lot. So just being able to pick her up in the late game, maybe replay her the turn that we play our 7th land, would be pretty phenomenal. So Under the Skin looks awesome here. Pick 4, still perfectly happy over here. In blue-green, Flood Pit's Drowner I think is the strongest card in the pack. Very efficient way to slow your opponent down with that tap and stun ability. You also can use this as full-on removal if you need to, shuffling the cards you stunned back into their deck. So, big fan of the Drowner, although Moldering Gym and Weight Room is certainly an option as well. It hits some Manifest Dread synergies and gives us good fixing in our deck, so that if blue gets cut, we don't even need that as a core color. We could just play any green deck and splash in a Zimone really easily with a few pieces of fixing like Moldering Gym. So that's certainly an option as well, but I do think Flood Pit's Drowner just very powerful for its mana cost, so we'll still roll with that. Pick 5 finally had a considerably weaker pack, although there's still a pretty solid colorless spell. The Conductive Machete fits into any deck, and obviously if we have a bunch of cards that care about Manifest Dread, it'll go up in value, and we are likely to, just off of our color pair, plus already having one card that cares a lot about manifesting. Wow. All right, well, this is going to be a really simple, really easy draft because Unnerving Grasp is a really high pick. It's one of the best mono-colored uncommons in the format, so to see it here, pick 6, beautiful sign for blue. It's also a great Manifest Dread card, so fantastic tempo play. Join the party, Unnerving Grasp. Pick 7, things are finally starting to dry up, just where there aren't very many powerful cards in this pack, period. The best card is Fear of Surveillance for aggressive white decks, and outside of that, it's pretty empty. We'll take the card draw here. I think Glimmerburst plays fine. Not a huge fan of counterspells in green-blue, though. Outside of the counterspell you can also use as a Manifest Dread card. That one plays perfectly fine, but other counter spells, you just have so much sorcery speed stuff you want to do. You don't often have the mana to hold up a good counter. All right, Bashful Beastie. This pack's pretty decent. Beastie's solid for us, and Percussionist is great for any red aggro decks. Also still some fixing in that pack. Pick 9. I will take the counterspell here. I don't think there's anything to speculate on. None of these cards will fit into our deck if we pivot off of green-blue. The only other good card really is Ride of the Moth, and there's basically no way we can cut every single card that we've drafted and become a black-white Reanimator deck. Although that is what is open. It is one of the less consistent archetypes, though, so just grab an Anthropede, keep cutting people off blue-green. Okay, pick 11 Glassworks is actually somewhat worth the speculation, though, especially when green is a main color right now, to where we can do some splashing. So take this fantastic removal. Almost feel like found footage is more likely to get played than don't make a sound. If we get a bunch of delirium stuff, the card is fine. Gets an artifact into your grave, surveils some other cards in the grave. It can fuel delirium pretty quickly, getting your 4 card types in there. Alright, pack 2, pick 1. Our alchemy card for this pack is Glimmer Hoarder, a black spell with survival. So best in a black deck that has a pretty aggressive curve, lots of combat tricks, and like indestructible spells to help protect this thing. Doesn't look like it's going to fit well in green-blue for us, but I could still just draft the alchemy cards super highly. This is a really powerful survival trigger. Basically lose a life, draw a card, but the card you draw is your choice of 3 of these spellbook options at random. And they all look pretty powerful. So cool card, powerful card, but we also have a cool and powerful card from the main set. So we're just going to grab the Overlord of the Hauntwoods here and get our big mana ramp mythic. Alright, I don't know what the odds of that are, but I'm just going to take that as a sign from the Magic Arena gods that we should be playing green here. We just take double Overlord in a row. Tragic, there is a green alchemy card here, and it's also one I think is really good. I love the synergy between entering tapped and having a survival ability. That means the turn you play this in your first main phase, you guarantee your first survival trigger. So a 3 mana 4/4 that puts a land from your graveyard onto the battlefield, that is a huge stat line. That is a really good rate. But how can I possibly resist having 2 of the exact same mythic rare Overlord? That's just actively hilarious. Alright, pick 3. There we go. Another alchemy card, so we can still play with some of the new hotness here, even if I did pass up on a non-color one for our mythic there. This is a 2 mana 2/3. When it enters or dies, exile another creature you control, and if you do, you conjure a duplicate of a random creature card with mana value X, where X is 2 plus the exiled creature's mana value. That is so fun. That's like some Momir right there. You just get a completely random creature from the entirety of what exists on Arena onto the board. So we play this, we exile. I guess a manifested card is mana value 2, so we could exile a manifested card to turn into a random 2/2. That doesn't seem the best. It honestly probably doesn't fit super well in here. Overgrown Zealot is the way safer option, but I want to play with all the alchemy cards I can, so if they're not in the same pack as a literal mythic rare, we'll try them out. Here's an Insidious Fungus. This is fine in the format because there are so many artifact creatures, enchantment creatures, rooms or enchantments, plenty of stuff to randomly blow up, and if not, you can just cycle this in the late game, sack it to draw a card. Pick 5. Oh, wow, that's a late entity tracker, but we're also in blue-green, where we're super unlikely to have a bunch of enchantments for it. We have 4 right now, but one of them is Glassworks. I guess that's 2 Overlords, Glimmer Burst, Fear of Change. You know what? I think it's still strong enough to build around it, even in a weird, like, blue-green deck here. And double Overlord is also splashing that we can play at 3 mana. or it's fixing, we can play at 3 mana. So I can help get the Glassworks in for another enchantment. Yeah, draw a card every time we play an enchantment. It's a really powerful ability, probably worth building around. Oh, pick 6 Wary Zone Guard. So we don't have a lot of copies of Say Its Name or anything to self-mill a ton, but we have some Manifest Dread cards. So if we always choose to manifest our lands into the graveyards and whatever else onto the board, then that's going to make sure this has the fuel it needs to slam a land from our grave back on the battlefield when we play this. This card seems great, and I'm just going to take it here. So we did still get a Wary Zone Guard, which is spicy, because that is what we passed up on for our second Overlord. Pick 7, Flesh Burrower's fine. We're doing pretty good on 2-drops here, although Stock Researcher seems really bad in this color pair generally. Although I do have the rare that makes me want to take as many enchantments as possible already. So maybe it'll end up being okay-ish here. I guess it's actually just like 3 2-drops. I don't know. I'm going to take the Rootwise Survivor. I think this card is pretty solid. Okay, pick 8. Moldering Gem works fantastically with our Entity Tracker, because when we play the first half and ramp up, we draw a card, and when we play the second half, we draw a card as well. However, we're not very high on removal right now, and the removal spell in this pack also plays well with Entity Tracker, so I'm going to take that. We need more removal in here. Stay hidden, stay silent. It is. Okay, pick number 9. This was when we passed a Black Alchemy rare. So pick 10 is when we might see the other copy of Zone Guard if we are the luckiest drafter in the universe. Here I think we just take a Thresher. We seem okay at getting Delirium, but Branch Snapper's an option too in a Manifest deck. Alright. We did not get our Wary Zone Guard to come back, sadly. But that's okay. We got a random little enchantment here if we want to really, really build around the Entity Tracker, which I think is genuinely very, very, very worth it. Oh, wow. We got Manifest Dread and Overgrown Zealot back here. That's incredible. I think I take the Zealot. They are both wonderful for the deck. Zealot gives us some more random fixing, which is pretty cool. Helps with the Glasswork splash if we need to do that to have enough removal. But it also gives us options if we open a great off-color rare of splashing that direction instead. Since it is mana of literally any color. Alright, pack 3, pick 1. We opened up, unfortunately, 2 double black rares. So those are very difficult to splash in. And I really want to play with the Razor Demon at some point just to see how bad it is. I don't know. It might be big enough that it's actually genuinely still pretty good. So it's a 3-mana 7/7 flyer. Ward, discard a card, but when you cast it, your opponent casts a tutor or this thing for free, or reanimates 2 of their creatures from their grave for free. Your opponent gets a huge spell when you cast this. So like the Demonic Pact is the scariest one for your opponent to play against you, but if they don't have built-in ways in their deck to deal with their own Demonic Pacts, it'll kill them. I don't know, it's a really interesting card. I love the design of that demon. I really want to play with it at some point. This is not that point yet. Oh, this is really, really narrow. Super cute, but I don't think that is going to be good in 1v1 draft. Spineseeker Centipede could be fine, but I mean, we didn't get a great off-color rare, so the only thing we're splashing right now is Glassworks, and we might not even have to do that by the end. I think I'll just take another Manifest Dread. That seems okay. Yeah. There's another great rare here, but it's double white. We'd have to hit 2 splash sources for that. Oof. Alright, good on color rare. No splashing required. Come on in, Omniverse Flytrap. I've got instants, sorceries, artifacts, enchantments, creatures. I can easily put lands in grave. I can hit Delirium, get some +1/+1 counters going for the Omniverse Flytrap. Pick 4. Monstrous Emergence is on color removal. It's also decently costed. Domination is very expensive on color removal. I think I take Emergence here. Like the Moldering Gym weight room with the entity tracker. Still only on like 6 enchantments. I think that's worth taking over Break Down the Door. We've got one Insidious Fungus for random artifact enchantment removal. Yeah, this card would absolutely be playable in this deck, but I love me the Gym entity tracker combo. Pick 6. Meat Locker is another good one. Combos well with the entity tracker. Decent way to just slow down the game and then get a little bit of card draw. It's perfectly fine here. Pick 7. What's the artifact count right now? Only 4 artifacts, but like 8 enchantments. So another artifact creature helps Delirium quite a bit. We've got a couple powerful Delirium cards, Wicker Folk Thresher, Omniverse Flytrap, and Patchwork Beastie now, adding to that. Pick 8, Vanish from Sight since we're low on interaction. That'll play perfectly fine. Some tempo removal. Okay, none of this is going to be good. Pick 10. Centipede. This Glasswork Splash is basically free at this point. If we play Moldering Gym Centipede double Overlord, play 1 mountain, call it a day. I don't think we'll be playing any of these. I guess I could have taken that 5 mana deal 6, but I can definitely take the Domination. Not super premium, super high pick removal, but is a removal nonetheless. This will be a very interesting one to build. We have Manifest Dread, Delirium, and Enchantment synergies in the deck, and then we're just kind of bomb heavy in general. I don't think we can cut any removal spells. Probably have to cut the counter though, again because I'm tapping out at sorcery speed so often I won't be holding up the extra mana. Yeah, this is a very interesting deck. There's a lot going on here. Okay, so right now we have a massive, massive mountain of creatures, just the biggest stack ever. So we will start by ripping a bunch of these creatures out of here, especially when lots of our sorceries also play like creatures. Our Unnerving Grasps and our Under the Skin, our Manifest Dread, our Harrowing Swarm. Let's just dig through the creatures here and find some of the less synergistic and just weaker creatures in general. Fungus is not super weak, but it's not hitting any great synergies for us. I like Beastie with Delirium. Drowner's great for the cost. Researcher not so much. Oh, this is basically a removal spell. I sorted all the Manifest Dread cards up here so I could see, you know, Manifest Dread and Harrowing Swarm adding to our creature curve, but this should be down here still. It's a little awkward. Swarm, Manifest Dread, Zealot, Fear of Change, those definitely stay. Tunnel Surveyor, seems like one of the least synergistic 3-drops, maybe even Centipede. If we end up just cutting red here, that would open up a lot of space with how we want to build this deck, because then I get to cut Centipede and Glassworks, just because I need to cut so many cards. Really Root-wise Survivor, because I've got better stuff at 5. Then, don't want to cut Moldering Gem with the tracker here. Just being a decent card in general. I mean, it ramps into itself, ramps into the 5/5 that weight room can give us. Okay, what if I drop all those? Still need to cut 7 more cards, but how many creatures really is this now? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Still like 20 creatures? Jeez. Alright, so the idea of turn 1 Fungus or Beast into turn 2 Fear of Change is too funny to me, so I'm going to keep that in here, because I'm gonna play with Fear of Change, period, which means that I want the 1-drops as well. I don't think we cut any 2-drops, let's keep the curve pretty decent here. So cut some 3s, mostly. It's what we would want to do, but god, our 3-drops are all so powerful. Entity Tracker, Double Unnerving Grasp, Omniverse Flytrap, Under the Skin, Wary Zone Guard, and Zamone. They're all incredible. Whatever, I guess we could cut Machete and Thresher and double Found Footage and just be a super creature heavy deck. Lower some of our Delirium carrying stuff. Now it's just Beastie, I think. And the Fly Trap. 3 cuts to go still. I feel like even if I cut the Frantic Strengths, we're at a pretty good enchantment count. Still at 7 at least. Couple rooms, which will trigger twice for the entity tracker. Although that could be something we can do, is just cut the whole entity tracker package. But I'm not going to do that. Let's drop the strengths. Just not going to cut any of the alchemy cards. We'll cut a beastie, I guess. Actually, a really low curve at that point. Maybe Glimmer Burst. All creatures all day long, but a lot of our creatures do have dual functions and kind of work like a spell. Like these are bounce spells, this is Graveyard Recursion, this is artifact and enchantment removal. Okay, this is literally removal. Yeah, super massive creature count here, but should all be fine. And we've got a lot of fun little stuff going on here. Some goofy alchemy cards in the deck. Let's just hop into the gameplay and see what all stuff this deck can do. Operation Blue-Green Enchantment deck is a success. If we don't naturally find the blue source, we can Moldering Gem into the blue for the tracker, play the tracker, and I have 2 rooms to unlock for more card draw with this thing. Yeah, they're going to have to kill this entity tracker for us to not just run away with the game in terms of card advantage. So as long as they're not super aggressive, we're playing a really good long game here. And so far, so good. They did not have a 2-drop. Oh, if they don't have a 3-drop, I'm going to be so happy. They did, and it's a fantastic alchemy rare. The survival card with Enlist, which is a really good way to make sure that it can get the survival. So if Effie is tapped, put a +1/+1 counter on each tapped creature they control, and then seek a survivor with mana value less than or equal to the number of tapped creatures you control. Okay, that is basically a kill me immediately or lose the game. And our removal sucks against that card because it's all tap based. So if I stay hidden, they're just going to draw a card every turn. Make her a 4/4, seek a 4 mana or less survivor from their deck. Oh, mana value less than or equal to the number of tapped creatures they control. Okay. So if they only have 1, they get a 1-drop. Okay, so the Enlist helps them get other survival creatures tapped, but doesn't actually tap the Effie. I could meet Locker here. It might work fine. They might not have a 1-mana survivor in their deck. But I think I want to get the entity tracker down and then start doing all the enchantment stuff. This is a huge problem, though. If I had my damage-based removal, I would just throw it right away. Just definitely the play. Alright, so we're going to take 5. She's going to become a 4/4 here. They're going to seek a 1-drop anyway. They don't have a 1-drop, well that's good. Okay, what do we do here? +1/+1 counter on each tapped creature. C equal with a number of tapped creatures. I think I need to just stop her from attacking again. With enlist shenanigans and everything. I guess it's technically better to play this after Manifest Dread. Okay, I would like to put an enchantment and a creature in grave and then I'd have full delirium, but if I do that I can't flip up the Overlord, which would also be good. I guess the 3/3 body doesn't attack into the 2/4 anyway. Yeah, we'll wait on it. Actually, next turn, I can Harrowing Swarm. That reduces the cost of flipping up the Overlord by 2. So if I top deck a land, I can play the Swarm and flip up the Overlord, and then attack with it as a 7/6. That could be flipping the game around here. Just the baseball bat, throw it on the ghost. They get to tap a creature every time they attack. Make sure they're getting in the sky. They're going to get a counter on the ghost, and they get a 2-mana survivor, which they do have, sadly. Ooh, and the Seized from Slumber to stop our card draw. That's also miserable. Hey, look, my second Overlord. They're never going to expect this. A Fly Trap to flip up. And I can flip it up for 1? Alright. Surprisingly have a tiny shot of outracing them now. Because that is insane as a turn. Hopefully this Meat Locker goes a long way to making sure we're not dead in 2 swings. We know they have a 2-mana creature in their hand. Because Effie seeked a card at 2 mana but didn't for 1. So there's the Cheerleader. And then just pass. Full defense here. We love to see that. Hey, Zimone. 1 land away from her. Can play Zimone and Moldering Gem, and she is ready to spit out a 7/7. Actually, Zimone and then just attack with the Overlord works too, so that lets me use the rest of my mana to Meat Locker here. That feels like a winning turn to me. Guess I don't get to flip up the Fly Trap this way though. 1 mana off from flipping that up. Since the land comes in tapped. Okay, well now I just lethal them, right? If they play that, just hit for 10. Alright. That works. Effie was scary, but it turns out our manifested rares were scarier. And they both just kind of snuck in a ton of damage out of nowhere. We just had a 2/2 sitting on the board, and then it was like, actually, swing for 7, get a land. And then that final swing flipped up for the extra point of damage for surprise lethal. 1 and oh, it's gonna be really sweet stuff from the deck as we head into game 2. All right, here we are on the play for game 2. This is a super, super sweet hand. We get to curve out with Manifest Dread into Unnerving Grasp and then make all those manifested cards really easy to play. Oh my god, we actually get to play Zone Guard next turn if I hit a land. And we did. Beautiful. Time to ramp up and just go absolutely wild. Would you like to trade with a 2/2 land? No, fair enough. Oh, I played it wrong. I forgot. I played so fast just trying to play instinctually here. I was supposed to play that pre-combat to get the trigger. But I forgot how it works. Survival's a main phase 2 trigger, not an end step trigger. I'm a doofus. That's on me. That would have been a genuinely huge turn if I played it out correctly. So if we lose, honestly, that is the turn that impacted this game a lot. We would have 4 mana out and a 4/4 right now. Luckily, looks like our opponent's on a little bit of a weaker Boros deck here, and our deck is kind of just built to steamroll this kind of stuff. So we are doing just excellent right now. Oh my god. Guess I don't have double green. So we take Zimone here. So our land engrave is an island, so we're gonna get another blue source. Alright, we should be at 5 mana right now off of this trigger. Which means this turn I would have been able to grasp and play the Harrowing Swarm. We would just be like unstoppable right now. I mean, we're still doing pretty great, but we'd be straight up unstoppable. They double block here and we vanish. We get to see what their face down is. And if it's good, they'll keep it. It's an Infernal Phantom, sure. Eye Trap with full Delirium. Don't mind if I do. Sorcery, enchantment creature, instant. There's the Infernal Phantom. Too small to kill the Wary Zone Guard. Still just shut off their only blocker here. Probably do that with Drowner and save the Stay Hidden for something better. This deck is straight up unstoppable right now. I'm playing like an absolute buffoon and it just doesn't matter. I'm a chimp with a machine gun. And a machine gun is still deadly. We are 2-0 heading into game number 3. All right, here we are on the play again. I mean, it's definitely a keep, but it has a lot of powerful cards without the tools to actually make them tick. Flytrap without Delirium, Zone Guard with nothing engrave, Fear of Change with nothing to exile. Still just drop this as a 2-mana 2/3, but I can save it to play it alongside an Entity Tracker later, so I'll do that. I guess I could turn Zimone into a random 5-drop with Fear of Change. That's pretty fun, especially if I miss the land drops to try to get the 5/5 out anyway. So we'll go for that. Green-blue mirror match, it looks like. They're going to have to Centipede into the blue source, though. Okay. You can play Zealot and Fear of Change here, but then I'm missing the Entity Tracker card draw. I feel like it's still worth it to go pretty quick here. Well, because I hit the land drop, I am 1 land draw away from Zimone making a 5/5. Though she does just upgrade the 3/3 into a 5/5 if they don't kill the 3/3. Whatever, I was born a gambling man. Let's exile Zimone, get a 5-drop. We're playing Momir. Garna. Alright, 3/3. 3/3 no text. If Fear of Change was a sacrifice ability, that would have been the sickest. Sack Zimone, put her back in my hand anyway. Well, I guess all my creatures have haste now. That's kind of sweet. Yeah, I suppose if we were gonna do the Fear of Change thing guaranteed, I should have done it pre-combat. Not that it would have been particularly likely to get something that gives my whole board haste, but if I got like a creature that just has haste. That would have mattered. If my hit was like a 5 mana 4/4 haste or something. We missed out on the 4 damage. Here we missed out on 2 damage, could have attacked with fear. So Fear of Change happens when it dies too, so we can hit Garna with the Fear of Change. What are you? Oh, a 2/5. A 2/5 with no abilities. I was scared for nothing. Good. Well, they could double block one of my 3/3s to kill it here. I don't really want a Meat Locker before I play the Entity Tracker. So we just pass and play an Entity Tracker. Because if they double block a 3/3 here and I kill the Fear of Change, they sack Ulalek to make a 7-drop. Yeah, no, I think we just pass and flash in an Entity Tracker. Unwilling Vessel. Oblivious Bookworm. Draw a card, discard a card every turn. Unwilling Vessel, usually not great in blue-green, but I mean, you've seen our blue-green deck is a very heavy enchantment build because we have Entity Tracker, so theirs could be similar. So, weirdly want to Meat Locker the Fear of Change for now. Kind of want to just stop them from making Ulalak actually good. So Meat Locker that, and then hopefully find the mana to Domination it soon. If I can Meat Locker and then top deck a land off Entity Tracker, that'll be a huge deal. Wonderful. Do this pre-combat so that it gets the +1/+1 buff. I'll absolutely trade a 3/3 for an Unwilling Vessel before it has counters on it, or a Bookworm. Bounce, bounce. Fair. They don't want to do any trades. Rude. So I need to reread this and be really sure. When it enters or dies, yep. Conjure duplicate of a random creature with mana value X. X is 2 plus the exiled creature. Cool. Stay hidden on the Entity Tracker. It's a counter on the Unwilling Vessel now. They don't have the untapped mana to immediately get rid of the tracker, though, so if I play Duskmourn's Domination next turn, I can go ahead and draw the card there. Ooh. And there's a Stay Hidden on the Fear of Change as well. That's rude. Yeah, I don't have any way to sack the Fear of Change or get rid of their Stay Hidden. Yeah, it's just gone. We're not going to be able to exile anything. So let's just stop them from doing the same here, right? Although now that the Unwilling Vessel has 2 counters on it, that's a consideration as well. The change is still going to be stunned for a little bit. Random 7-drop. Could be a bad one. Could be. Alright, kill a bookworm. Get that out of here. 2 cards in hand, 1 single blocker. Well, 3 cards now. They draw for turn. Our Drowned Diner is going to be huge here. Yeah, so they're just going to start getting their 2/2s. They let us keep the Entity Tracker, so we do draw another card off that. So let's draw that card, shall we? Unnerving Grasp, that is a good one. Got 1 card engraved. I only have a creature engraved. My Delirium is not doing too hot. Oh, it has haste because Garna. Oh, I'm so dumb. I literally talked earlier about the haste, and then I completely forgot about it. Yeah, that would have been a good attack with Overlord. Say its name. Mill 3, pick up their best creature from grave. Got a Soul Shredder. That's pretty cool. Best creature in grave is Bookworm. This is just like a big hasty vehicle, I guess. They can bring it back from their grave to the board. Yeah, whenever creatures die, it keeps getting bigger, even if it's in their grave. Oh, no! We redrew the Fear of Change, and now it's gone! That's so tragic. Okay, enchantment, creature, sorcery. If I mill a land off the Manifest Dread, Beastie gets attacking here, and Flytrap goes crazy. So we put Ulalek to hand, and it's just stranded. That feels rude. No, 2 enchantments? I already got enchantments in grave. I just needed to mill a land. Sad day. Sad day it is. I'd draw 3, discard a card, and discard a land, I guess, to hit Delirium, but then I don't play the Flytrap this turn. That's another Entity Tracker card draw while we still can, so probably worth it. Cool. Ooh, there's the Under the Skin. We can pick up the thing. Now we can pick up our fear. Okay, so they can fear away a survivor now, is what they do. How do they kill the Overlord? They can't kill the Overlord unless we kill their survivor. So they could double block and then I kill survivor and their Fear of Change gets worse. They are at 8. I guess we let them kill a 3/3 then. I'm probably on full Trump attacks with a Flytrap coming up too. Prevent the Overlord double block. And get them super low. Yeah, 2 life. See what pops out of the survivor is the play. Demon Lord Belzenlock. No. 3/2 double strike trample. Not a bad one. Demon Lord Belzenlock is the funniest one you could hit at 6 mana. In Momir. Because in Momir it exiles your whole deck. It would actually be pretty good in this mode. Because you exile cards till you hit a non-land and you draw like all those cards. In Momir your deck is 40 lands, but here, still at 13 cards left in their deck would still not be great for them, but it would actually be a good card. Okay, 2 life. If I just Under the Skin removal, they're dead, so we'll do that. Kind of a boring way to win. I do have the fear, which would be fun, but I'm not going to choose to miss lethal here. Oh, you know what would be a really fun way to win? Pick up Garna. Because I have mana of any color. Okay, I can win a fun way, so we'll win the fun way. Right? Haste everybody here off of Garna. Because how often do you have the mana for your randomly conjured up black-red spell? Yeah, there's the concession. Play Garna, give the whole board haste, play the fly trap, haste the fly trap. Super lethal. 3-0. This deck is doing really silly and powerful things, and I am absolutely loving it. We'll see if we can keep it up, keep the undefeated record rolling as we head into game 4. All right. That is certainly never a mulligan right there. We're in game 4 now on the play with an insane hand. There's no 2-drop, but our mountain of incredible 3-drops is here. Our absolute stack. Oh my god. Oh, we really got to do it to him, don't we? And the overlords are actually nuts with Simone. Usually you stop at like 7/7 naturally, but with 2 overlords spitting out extra lands, who knows? We might get to insanely high land counts here. Put our biggest threat on the board, bounce everything they do until we hit 5 mana, and then start overlording into their face. If they pass the turn without playing anything, I think I'll just impending the overlord. Okay, so turn 5. Whenever we hit the 5th land, I can Unnerving Grasp the Unable to Scream, so that I do get the Zamone trigger. So that'll be pretty big. Are they going to use that? Oh, they have to. All right, there goes the Mana Dork for Displacer Kitten. Okay, that's kind of sick. So next time they cast a non-creature spell, they get to flicker the Fear of Change and use it again, exiling the Displacer Kitten for a 6-mana creature, or they can keep this around so they can keep flickering the Fear of Change and exiling their other cards. That is really sweet. Okay, so kind of want to just Unnerving Grasp the Displacer Kitten then to stop that nonsense. If I Unnerving Grasp Unable to Scream, they know that's coming. And if I Overlord, I'm going to be on 5 lands this turn and miss a Zamone hit. When I can Unnerving Grasp the turn I hit 5 lands. Yeah, let's just Grasp the Kitten. Them having to manually recast that should be a little rough for them. Cautious Survivor is the play then. And there's the 5th mana. It's a 5-drop. Upgrade the Fractal or play an Overlord here are the options. Well, let's play the Overlord. Let's just get 1,000,000 mana. It's going to make it easier to do multiple things in future turns. More mana means more options. Alright, Patchwork Beasties here. No Delirium, so it's a pretty good sack for the Fear of Change whenever that dies. Entity Tracker. Now, I don't want to play Overlord yet. Okay. So I want to get this on the board first. So let's get this on the board. Cautious Survivor has a life gain survival ability. That's not that bad for me. Still worth tapping it to keep it for blocks. Just let them gain a little bit of life here so that we're spitting out crazy amounts of mana. Alright, they're probably just sacking the survivor now since we stunned it. And see what random stuff they hit. They can sack a creature, draw X, gain X for X's power. Gain 3, draw 3 is a really good deal off of just sacking Patchwork Beastie. That was a pretty good hit. Pretty good hit. God, I love that. That Fear of Change card is too fun. Like, even when my opponents are playing it, I'm just enjoying it. I love the Momir random nonsense. This is probably my favorite alchemy card. So nice that it has been such a key factor in today's video, where I've both played with and against it quite a bit. No land in their grave? Sure, I'll take 4. No extra mana for them. Oh, another one. Nice. All right. Get an 8-drop. Yuma. Sack a land to draw a card. Whenever they sack a desert, they get a 4/2, so that doesn't do anything. It's a 6/6, and they can sack lands to draw cards. All right. There's the Spineseeker Centipede. That is an excellent sack for Fear of Change. Okay, they don't have red mana, so Unnerving Grasp on Yuma should be just beautiful. Underwater Tunnel. I am giving up on Unnerving Grasping to let Simone make like an 11/11 later or something, but I think it's worth it here to break through the board. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 mana after Unnerving Grasp, so I can also Harrowing Swarm. Do a flip up here. Potentially. Yep, I can flip up the Zealot for sure. And the Fly Trap. Wonderful. That's my Delirium. 1, 2, 3, it's 4. Nice. So Delirium's ready for when that thing can actually attack. Alright, so we kill both. They get a 5/5, or sorry, they get a 5-drop out of this Weary Zone Guard. But we've got them down to 1 creature on the board. That is a 4/6. I guess those are actually pretty common card types. Cleric, Rogue, Warrior, Wizard, Ally. I wouldn't be surprised if there's at least like 1 card in their deck that has one of those card types. But Duskmourn does have some weird card types. I mean, Zimone's a wizard. But we have like Survivors and Horrors and Scouts. I don't know. This is probably just a 4/6. All right, Manifest. Things are getting slimy in here. And then Under the Skin. I don't know what good permanents are in their grave. We'll see. Do it. Pick up the Fear of Change. Do it. Yes. That's what it's all about. All right, say hello, everybody. Hello. Just take the biggest blocker. We playing the lazy way here. Technically, I should be doing that a little differently. Where I wait to flip the beastie until they declare their blocks. All right, goodbye 4/4. They're down to 4 life. Displacer Kitten is the play. Oh, maybe just to exile it to the Fear of Change and make a 6 mana creature. Yeah. Okay. Gormand. Each opponent sacks a creature. It's decent. Goodbye, Zimone. Creatures you control get +1/+0, but they're at 4 life. 2 creatures at least get in here. I have some lethal draws, I think, so let's go for it. See what Drowned Giner finds us. That's a lethal draw. Vanish the Gormand from sight and attack with everybody. There's a concession from our opponent. We remain undefeated now, 4-0, breaking even on gems no matter what happens in the event. With a positive win rate here. This has been super, super sweet. All right, here we are on the play for game 5 with a great curve out. Drowner into Grasp, no 4 mana play, but the Beastie to top off the curve should be sweet. None of our many incredible bombs in the hand, but any of them drawn here would be fantastic. They're all, what, 3 or 5 mana, so they'll fit in really nicely here. Play a 3-drop on turn 4, and then play our 5 mana bomb after the Beastie. Awkwardly, we really want our opponent to play some cheap cards here, because otherwise our first 2 plays are significantly weaker when we're not tapping and stunning or when we're not bouncing. Alright, playing against a blue deck. It's a Fear of Change. They play a creature here. Getting the ETB effect of Flood Pits Drowner and following it up by making it a 4-drop would be incredible. And if not, I sit here doing nothing being sad. Maybe it's still worth doing the Drowner into Fear of Change there. Poke for 2 and see what 4-drop we get. But I am so greedy. When it enters, target opponent reveals each non-land card in their hand. Choose one. It gains whenever you cast a spell. Each opponent draws a card and gains 3 life. Yikes. Well, that's an incredible card. So basically a 3 mana 2/3 flyer, draw a card, gain 3 life. That is a really good deal. Oh, yeah, just allow it. They're going to get it no matter what. Like, if I respond by drowning, then they're just going to put it on something else that I'm definitely going to cast. Patchwork Beastie. Not bad. It's actually better to exile that to the Fear of Change then? Than the Drowner? Well, it might be. I think I'm just going to do that. Because I certainly don't want to, like, actually shuffle this back in. It's a pretty good redraw. What is this? This creature enters with an additional shield counter on it. You may choose a creature card in your hand. If you do, it enters with an additional shield counter on it. Otherwise, put a shield counter on the bodyguard. Beginning of each combat, it gets +1/+1 for each shield counter among other creatures you control. I mean, probably just want to shield that up. I don't really need a shield counter on my card that spits out a creature when it dies. Yeah, and I'm way happier with them exiling that than exiling this and stopping its death trigger. So that is A-okay. Meat locker it instead. If I grasp the thief and I have no other spells in my hand, they will not be drawing another card off of it. Actually seems okay here. Just in case they bounce that, we'd rather have that in hand than a land. Not going to play land for turn because it could convince them we have a spell here. Not convince them, but makes it look more likely that we have a spell here. Well, awkward. That key bearer is incredible here. It stops every attack we have, and then it flips the Drown Diner for free. That was a pretty pivotal turn to find some form of interaction. Bad turn to draw land. Oh god, Curiosity key bearer, so they draw a card every time they hit us with this too. Plus the Curiosity, obviously 3 toughness, stopping all of our 2s. At least they really have to discard hand size right now. Probably should have attacked with Fear of Change last turn anyway. Kill a 2/2, take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They take 9. We can sack a 2/2 to deal 9 here. Which feels incredibly worth it. Or that works too. And it's also perfectly worth it. They'll still have the enchantment letting them draw cards, but they won't have the body anymore as a blocker. Oh, they're just over it. All right, we take those 5 and 0, heading into game number 6. All right, this hand is actually not great because the fly trap's going to be very far away from Delirium when it hits the board. But it's still definitely going to be a keep here with both of our colors, a little bit of interaction between the fungus and the vanish. If they play anything good to kill with the fungus, killing something with the fungus is going to get a creature in grave, and then vanish from sight puts an instance and whatever it surveils into the grave. It's highly unlikely, but technically possible, that we could have full Delirium turn 4. Creature, instant. Well, I guess I'd have to hit 2 card types off of Vanish from Sight, so yeah, it is impossible. I lied. Because only 2 card type cards in the deck are creatures, so then fungus wouldn't be adding there. The card types. There's Meat Locker here. Not really. There's Meat Locker at 2/2. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, not actually that excited about that. Kind of okay to still just hold up Vanish from sight here. For now. This card's just really fun. But against blue-white, I don't think I want to exile this, because blue-white's a really good enchantment-based color pair. They can have a lot of great enchantments to blow up with the fungus. Although now there's a Manifest Dread, they're like 3-color. Weirdness over there. Alright, let's start filling some Delirium and slowing them down. Fine with making them redraw this. Unless they want to counterspell that. Okay, that is so fine. They're tapped out of the counterspell for the Beastie here. Or I could Fear of Change Emergence while they're tapped out, but there's nothing I really need to kill. Should have attacked first, so that I'm threatening a trick. We playing sloppy today, though. Super reasonable trade, and it soaked up all their mana for the turn. We take those. One card type from Flytrap. Do we have a sorcery engrave? We don't. So Emergence gets us to Flytrap. I mean, I don't like spending Emergence on a 2/2, but I really like getting Delirium here. Three power. Just put 2 counters on the face down. And I can exile Zealot to the Fear of Change. Dissection Tools, you're getting Meat Lockered. And they're going to have to sack the 1/1 and move that around. Actually, are they dead? I can fungus the tools, actually. Super true. I can fungus the tools if I need to. For 2 mana. So yeah, if they try to move the tools, I just blow it up, and I just stun that for now. I need 3, 4 toughness to get that in. Yeah, I can send in the whole team. Like so. Cool. Okay, I gotta hold up the 2 mana for fungus. Meat Locker. The Fly Trap. Flip up an Analyst. Stunned Analyst gets flipped up. Okay, sack the Analyst is what they were trying to do. That's fine. Pass turn. Destroy target artifact. The lifelink. Now they have a trump with no life gain. I have no flashback or disturb, sadly. All right, good flips. Force trump and good flips. Grasp the carriage. Wait, why does it only cost 4? Oh, the alchemy changed it. I just assumed I got a 6 drop off of the fear thing. Because in draft, this is a 6 mana 4/4 flyer. Grabs a flashback or disturb card. But the alchemy changed the card. And that's my least favorite part about alchemy is when they change cards. I feel like a printed card should always be that card. Because really weird, confusing things like this happen, where it's like I've drafted Innistrad Midnight Hunt at least 20 plus times. Like, I know this card. This is not this card. This card is a 6 drop, not a 4 drop. So I get confused. And I like randomly conjure it here, like, wait, what? Why? I could pull a physical copy of the card out, show it to the camera, and it would be not this. Alright. Well, another fantastic game. Our deck is just loaded with incredible rares and uncommons and mythics and absolutely everything you could ever need, so just get to throw cards on the table in whatever order we want and get free wins. We'll see if we can do that 7 games in a row. We are 6-0, undefeated, as we head into the final boss with 3 rounds in the chamber. Alright, game 7 on the play. Beautiful hand. This time we actually have a creature to play when there's not stuff to harass on the board. Stuff to stun and bounce and everything. Zealot means 4 mana next turn. I can Zealot into Dread plus Drowner. Yeah, that's probably better. Even though there's no attacks turn 3 now. Yeah, Dread plus Drowner should be incredible here. Because even if they don't play a creature right now, if they play one by turn 3, we still do the thing. Whew, double. Double Unnerving Grasp. Playing against black-white, they have a lot of reanimation spells in that archetype to bring back some super big creatures for cheap. So bounce spells should play really good against this deck. And bounce spells do play really well against the tokens. So just Unnerving Grasp on the 4/4 is going to be gross. Actually stun Toby here. Because I don't want to trade Drowner into Toby and then have them just play a reanimation spell. So if they reanimate Toby, they get another 4/4. Instant sorcery land, we're on 3 card types for Delirium. I don't know if the extra 1 point of damage is worth it here to potentially stop this from attacking next turn. Glimmerlight, hello 1/1. And +1/+1. Pretty suspicious, I think. So what are you holding up here? 1 and a white, destroy a tapped creature. I mean, you got it. That is fine by me. Basically, any combat trick should be fine here too, just trading down into a 2-2. Cool. We're chilling. Goodbye, island. Unsettling Twins. That is much less chill. That is all the blockers they need to put this game on an entire halt for now. So now we have to find our beef. That is certainly not it. There's a discard 2 card in this format. So I could just pass and play around that, but manifesting helps us get any of our bomb creatures. So I'm just going to manifest here in the interest of finding beef. And there it is. There it is. Okay, if they make me discard 2, I'm doomed either way. But there is a 4-mana 2/2 that makes each player discard 1 card, in which case discarding an island here would be nice. Alright. Grand entryway. Lots of Balemurk Leech life loss. Stick Twister, sure. Can emergence that if it's a problem, or fungus it even. Oh, this is 5 to flip up. I actually can't afford that, even with Zealot right now. I don't mind just killing the Stick Twister right now then. For mana efficiency. Can flip both of these up. Right? We're actually at full delirium right now, which is a little surprising. So Beastie's just active. These draws are not. Double black and 1-up, you say? They could have a murder here. I think I'm killing the face down. Does a murder counter this spell? the power of the creature you chose. So if I choose a creature and that creature dies, I think Emergence gets countered, but I guess we'll find out. Kind of need to play around this flipping up into high toughness too. I don't want to like choose Overlord and then get murdered, but I also don't want to like choose Beastie and then get +2/+2 combat tricked. Alright, whatever. This will be a way to see if the 6 is locked in, even if they murder the Overlord or not. It might be. But the way that it's notated there, since Monstrous Emergence is dealing the damage, not the creature dealing the damage. I mean, if I had the murder here and I were in their shoes, I would just do it anyway, because, like, even if it doesn't stop the emergence, you're going to have to murder the Overlord regardless. So I'm starting to think they may not have the murder. Could be the +1/+1 hexproof trick, maybe? Or they left the game. That too. Yeah, maybe they had something else going on right now. Or was it dissection tools? Interesting. Appendage Amalgams. They can block Overlord with their whole board or trade into Beastie. Trade into Beastie is the play. Fear of Surveillance. Get the Rotunda counters to be able to block Overlord pretty well now. Okay, not if they attack. A little bit of a bold attack. Tragic Manifest. Down to 2 cards in their hand. One of them was the top deck for the turn. Friendly Ghost is good here. Big attack with Fear of Surveillance. I think they got the 1 mana +2/+2 as the final trick in hand. Guess we'll find out. Nope. Get that out of here. And that is a big miss of a draw. Then the deck. Only milled 1 land here, so 6 total in the top 19 cards. In theory, they start flooding pretty soon here. They've seen 6 out of probably a minimum of 15 lands halfway through their deck. But Double Flyer just kills us. Loses all abilities including flying, so I guess it just doesn't matter. Die to flying. Man. Force the Balemark Leech chump here. Got no way to gain life. Yeah, no, we're just dead. We hit too many lands. They hit too few. Too many spells over there. Dang, yeah, one more removal spell would do it, or just anything. 6-1, heading into game 8. Alright, here we are for game a lot. Ready to get that final win out of the way quick with this hand. This is a busted one. We get to start out with Zimone, grasp anything they play to slow them down. We have the Entity Tracker to play before our enchantment-based removal spell. No Dragonfire, no Dragonfire, let's go. Wait, does Arena really do that? Oh my god. So if I played Zimone main phase 1 there, Scorching Dragonfire would have given them a stop moving to combat, which is why I did it main phase 2 just in case Arena worked like that. By casting Zimone main phase 2 and my opponent not being in full control mode, Arena did not give them a chance to kill her before my end step where that ability triggers, but technically they should have been able to kill her when I said move to end step, like still in my second main phase. So yeah, nice little word of advice if you're playing on Arena. Zimone main phase 2 against a red deck in case of Scorching Dragonfire. Bloop. Draw a card. Value. Ooh, Zone Guard, so I think I want to fill the grave, get a land in there. There's a land. Beautiful. Another word of advice. Play this in main phase 1. Unlike we did in game number 1. What is this? 1 green mana. Sad day. Well, the next enchantment in my hand costs 6 mana, so I think I'm kind of fine. I just swing. Oh, they're already over it. They're like, really? A 3 mana 4/4 plus ramp? Yep, Wary Zone Guard is pretty good. We are 7-1. Our only loss being against the black-white deck, where we kind of just drew twice as many lands, is what it is there. Definitely could have played a little better too. I think we threw away our 5/5 a little early, and maybe with enough counter swings, we actually could have barely lethaled them. I don't know. 7-1 is still an incredible record. This was a super easy draft. We had incredible cards pushing us to green-blue nice and early, and they ended up just being the most open colors in the universe. I mean, I opened up an Overlord of the Hauntwoods pack 2 and then got past a second copy. That was insanity. That pack 2 pick 1 into pack 2 pick 2 was ridiculous. But we got past the Zimone, hopped on that ship real quick, and really never had to look back. Zimone, double Overlord, Omnivorous Flytrap, and even the really late Entity Tracker that we picked up managed to be quite the addition to this deck. Blue-green generally almost never an enchantment deck, but when you get that Entity Tracker, draft those rooms nice and highly, and you've got the great enchantment creatures to go with it as well, like the Overlords and the Fear of Change, as well as enchantment-based removal like Stay Hidden, Stay Silent, maybe some of the 1-mana removal. Would have been great in here as well, but we didn't manage to scoop up any of those. So, really fun deck. Lots of bomb power, and we got to try out a lot of the alchemy cards. We really got to do everything with this deck. This is exactly where I want to be in my drafts. Just get to do all the things, have all the fun, have a very flexible and powerful deck, and get the 7 winner. Just everything went right. Fear of Change, probably my favorite of these new alchemy cards. I always love the Momir variants they put out there, where you're conjuring a creature just out of everything on the entirety of Arena at random. That's always really fun to me. So love the Fear of Change. Really fun card, and I also think it actually is probably a high pick if you are trying to win. Not that it was particularly good in this deck. I don't think we really built around it at all, so it was quite weak. But I think it plays really well with one of the best commons in the format, which is the Spineseeker Centipede. And if I had realized that earlier, I probably should have just done that, even though we're just a 2-color deck. But Fear of Change with creatures with great enter effects, where you already get their value right when they hit the board, is kind of perfect. And Spineseeker Centipede fits the bill for that perfectly. You play it, you immediately get a land, and then you just upgrade it. So Fear of Change was really fun, and I think genuinely pretty powerful. Harrowing Swarm is also very fun, genuinely very powerful in this deck. Multiple times this made our other creatures cheaper to flip, got us some +1/+1 counters. The Swarm was fantastic. And the Wary Zone Guard, I think, is just fantastic in any green deck. You need to draft a tiny bit of self-mill, but you can do that like we did just by having a lot of Manifest Dread cards to get your 1 land into the graveyard. Or you can be a more dedicated self-mill deck like Green-Black Delirium, playing a lot of copies of Say Its Name, where you like mill 3 and stuff like that. As long as you can have a land engrave with this, this card's insane. And even if you don't have a land engrave the turn you play it, it's still a 3-mana 4/4, which is quite good. Just really need to make sure you play it main phase 1. So absolutely wonderful deck. We got to play with all the new hotness and all the main set bombs. It was just a wonderful draft all around. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it or you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.